The Chicago Cubs are on the air.
Here's the 1-2 pitch to Billy Williams. A swing and a long drive, deep to right center. Well hit. Center fielder at the wall. Home run! Home run! Hey!
Lines up again. Throws and Brickhouse swings to Bounder. Grimm leaps into the air, gets it, and throws to the plate. And they trap the runner between third and home. And Hartnett runs up and tags him and turns, but Brickhouse hadn't got past first base. A very, very nice play by Hartnett.
Billy Jurgis dives for the ball. Now he flips it to Herman at second base. It's out. Very close, but what a play.
The pitch to Kissinger. Swinging a fly ball to deep center field. Matty Allou's going back. It's over his head. It's going to the wall. Kissinger around second base. Matty Allou hasn't got it in yet. He's going to try. He's going to try. Here's the throw for the shortstop. It's foul target. He scores. An inside the park home run.
He swings ground ball right side. Beckett ranging far to his left. He gloves it close to first. He's got it. Tremendous play by Beckett to eventually far to the first base side under the edge of the outfield grass. Gloved that ball, one-handed, whirled and threw in a flash to first base. A spectacular play. The second one by Beckett.
Deep to right. Back. It's all over. Willie Smith just homered. The Cubs win the game.
Yes, few teams in all of sports have shared with their fans more wild, wonderful, and memorable moments than the team that evolved from the Chicago White Stockings, Colts, and Orphans into the Chicago Cubs.
Attention. Attention, please. Have your pencil and scorecards ready, and I'll give you the correct lineup for today's ball game. The battery for the Cubs, Bush and Hartnett. Batting order, Herman, second base. English, third base. Kyler, right field. Stevenson, left field. Demery, center field. Grimm, first base. Hartnett, the catcher. Koenig, shortstop. And Bush, the pitcher.
For the Cubs today, it's going to be Stan Hack at third base. Johnson will play second. Peanuts Lowry will be in left field. Phil Cavaretta at first base. Andy Pafko in center field. Bill Nicholson in right field. Livingston will do the catching. Hughes is going to play shortstop. And the Cub pitcher, big right-hander Claude Passau.
Some 1,300 players have worn the uniform of the Chicago National League Ball Club. They date back to the team that helped organize the league in 1876. Chicago scored assorted baseball firsts in the 1870s. The first team to be shut out, it was 9-0 New York. The first team to post a 1-0 shutout. The first team to be victimized by a no-hit, no-run game, the pitcher, Philadelphia's Joe Borden. Baseball had a saying in those days. If a team was shut out, it was Chicago'd. On May 2nd, 1917, Jim Hippo Vaughn of the Cubs and Cincinnati's Fred Toney matched 9 innings of hitless ball in baseball's greatest pitching duel. But it will be 38 years before Cub fans experience another no-hitter in Chicago. May 12th, 1955. Sam Toothpick Jones holds the Pirates hitless through 8 innings, but opens the ninth by walking Gene Freese, Preston Ward, and Tom Saffel. Bases loaded, nobody out. After a brief conference with manager Stan Hack, Jones proceeds to strike out Dick Grote and rookie Roberto Clemente. The last Pirate hope, slugging Frank Thomas. Sam Jones looks around that infield. Somebody on every base. All set again. Here we go. Strike 2. Thomas swings lightly. High curve. 1-2. Jones needs one more strike for you-know-what. One more strike. The umpire peering over McCullough's shoulder. Watch it now. Jones against Thomas. The pitch. Strike 3. Ball, strike 3. It's a no-hitter for Jones. Pandemonium out on the field. A real mob scene. Jones is being pounded by well-wishers, players, and fans alike. Wow, what a scene down there. History has been written here. A no-hitter. Oh, brother. Jones is the first black to pitch a no-hitter in the majors, an achievement that enriches a Chicago record that includes the first league championship, the first batting champion, and the first 400 hitter, both in the person of second baseman Ross Barnes. Chicago is also the first team with a player who powers 3 home runs in a single game. Ed Williamson pioneers the feat in 1884, 60 years before a tobacco-chewing left-handed slugger takes his familiar crouch against the New York Giants.
Again, here comes the pitch. He hits it. There goes another long drive. It may be out of here. It's going. It is gone. The 3rd home run today for slugger Bill Nicholson of the Cubs.
Nicholson will hit another home run in the 2nd game of the Twin Bill, his 6th in 4 games to tie a Major League record. During the next era of Cub power, another tobacco-chewing Cub outfielder will duplicate Nicholson's feat twice, both times amazingly against the same pitcher. 8th inning now, ball on the count on Sauer. Big Hank already has 2 homers off Kurt Simmons in this ball game. You know, it's kind of ironic that Sauer got 3 homers off Simmons in 1 game in August of 1950, just before Kurt left for the service. Remember that? Now here's Hank trying to do it again. Kurt's ready. Here's the pitch. There she goes. Back, back, back! Home run! Another home run for Sauer! Over the left field wall, way out on the screen, his 18th home run of the year. And Simmons has to be. The Cubs win 3 consecutive pennants starting in 1906 and are the first team to capture 2 consecutive World Series. They do it in 1907 and 8. In the 1929 Classic, the Cubs counterbalanced the honor by misplaying the wildest scoring inning in series history. Philadelphia bombs the Cubs for 10 runs in the 7th to overcome an 8-run Chicago lead. The Athletics win the game and subsequently the series 4-1. 3 years later, with Charlie Root again the pitcher and the Yankees on the way to a 4-game sweep of the series, Babe Ruth drops his own special bombshell.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Where Evans pumps his arm for a called strike 2. Babe let that one go past him also. He never took the bat off his shoulder. 1-2 on Ruth. Now Babe raises that finger again and looks out at Charlie. Ruth gets his sign into the windup. Here's the 1-2 pitch. A swing. A long drive. It's toward that center field corner. That ball electric swing confines the Wrigley Field at almost the exact spot that Babe had been pointing to. Here's Ruth around second on his way toward third. As he comes into third, he thumbs his nose in the direction of the Cubs dugout. Here he is around third base heading for home.
Did Ruth call his shot? You will find arguments on both sides to this very day. But there's no debating the 21 straight victories that bring the Cubs another pennant in 1935. The storybook finish puts the Cubs losers of 4 series in a row against a Detroit club that has yet to win a world championship. The Tigers lead the series 3-2. Game 6, score tied in the 9th, 1 out. The Tigers' Mickey Cochran singles and advances to second on an infield out. This puts the issue squarely up to the Cubs' Larry French and Detroit veteran Goose Gosling.
Crowd has become surprisingly quiet here in Detroit. Mickey Cochran, the potential winning run, is at second. Larry French goes into the stretch. The southpaw delivers. Goose Gosling swings and the ball is hit into right center. And it's going to drop him. It does. Cochran is heading for home. And here comes the throw, but it's too late. And Cochran scores. The Tigers are the world champions of baseball. Rick Stadium is Oxford red.
By now, baseball broadcasts from Wrigley Field had become one of radio's most popular attractions. At one time, no less than 5 Chicago stations carried the Cubs games. Among the familiar Cub voices of their day were Quin Ryan.
And Kyler swings, and there's a good solid hit over second. Well, folks, Kyler's on first with the Cubs' 3rd hit of the ball game.
Hal Totten.
And the pitcher stands there getting his sign. He winds up again now and throws, and Grimm swings the ground ball toward right field. Kerr goes over far to his left, gets it, throws to first, and it's 2 out in the 2nd inning for the Cubs. A slow ground ball toward right field. Johnny Kerr went over, got it. He seemed to fumble it a second up in his arms. He didn't get it in his hands, but he finally got a hold of it and threw to first. So it's 2 out in the 2nd inning for the Cubs, and Gabby Hartnett is at bat.
Jolly Charlie Grimm.
Big Bill Lee gets the sign from Gabby Hartnett. Jensen is the tying run at third base, and Elston the hitter. Big Bill goes into his stretch, and here's the pitch. He struck him out. The Cubs win 2-1, and now
Lou Fonseca.
Tim Dom swings. It's a hit. Don D'Alessandro lined that ball right over Higby's head. And the fire plug, who walks like a man, pulls up at first with a solid single.
And Pat Flanagan.
Welch winds another one up. The field is in shadow now. Sun's gone back the cloud. There goes the ball towards second. Herman gets it, makes the throw to first, and Brickhouse is out. Brickhouse out from Herman to Grimm.
Perhaps the single most dramatic moment in Cubs history occurs on a dark, dreary September day in 1938. By dropping the opener to the Cubs, the first-place Pirates see their lead trimmed to a scant half game. In the crucial second game, with darkness closing in, the score tied 5-5, and 2 out in the bottom of the ninth. Manager Gabby Harrington steps out of the shadows of the dugout for his turn at bat.
It's official now. There won't be another inning. National League President Ford Frick is in the press box, and the umpires have passed up the word. It's now or never, Leo. Gabby steps back into the box. Brown goes into his windup. He throws. Gabby swings. He hits it. It's a long, long drive, way out into left center. Lloyd Wainer is racing back. It's going. It may be. It is. A home run. The Cubs win 6-5. Gabby trotting around the bases, stomping on each bag as he passes it.
Of course, in 1938, when we hit the home run, that was really the highlight of my career. Because when I get to second base, I couldn't see third with the people. So many people on the field, and believe me, when I touched third base, my feet never touched the ground till I got to home.
The Pirates are a beaten ball club. The Cubs mop up the following day, 10-0, and the 1938 pennant race, to all intents and purposes, is history. Such is the joy over Hartnett's dramatic home run that not even the power-laden Yankees frighten Cub loyalists. And in the first 2 games of the series, at least, it's not Yankee power that beats the Cubs. New York takes the opener in a close 3-1 ball game. In Game 2, the Cubs' Dizzy Dean nurses a 1-run lead going into the second inning. With 2 men on, 2 out, Joe Gordon works the count to 3-2.
Well, DiMaggio and Gehrig are on base. They're 2 out here in the Yankees' second. 3-2, the count on Gordon. Something's got to give on this pitch. Dean into the stretch, the pitch. There's a ground ball, and it's going through the left side. Jurgis and Hank have collided going after the ball. The ball is rolling slowly out into left field. Here's DiMaggio scoring. Gehrig is scoring. Gordon pulling up at second base, and Dean runs the ball down in shallow left field. The Yankees take the lead now, 2-1.
The mishap keeps the game close until the latent Yankee power surfaces in the late innings, touching off another 4-game New York sweep. The Cubs' pennant every 3 years chain, which began in 1929, is broken in 1941. Under manager Jimmy Wilson, the Cubs finish a distant 6th. It isn't until 1945, in a league shorn thin of talent by military demands, that the Cubs scramble past the favored Cardinals to capture another pennant. The 45 series goes the full 7 games before the Tigers pull it out. The series is sparked by Claude Passaw in game number 3.
Well, Passaw is getting ready to pitch now to a very dangerous right-hand batter, Rudy York. York steps into the batter's box, a big Indian up there, a very, very dangerous man. Here comes the pitch. York swings and hits the ball to center field. It's a good, clean single. Now he holds up at first base. And by the way, well, I'm looking over at the dugout, and now I see McHale is walking out of the dugout and is apparently going to bat for Webb. Now this will be the Tigers' last chance, as there are 2 out here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Passaw has pitched a truly brilliant game. He's allowed only 1 hit. That was by York, you recall, that single to center field in the 2nd inning. The only other man to reach was on a walk. Passaw looking down at Livingston, getting his sign. He goes into the windup, delivers. McHale swings, and there's a high pop-up behind the plate. Livingston is moving over under it. He makes the catch, and the ball game is over. The Cubs have won the 3rd game of the World Series, 3-0 behind the brilliant pitching of Claude Passaw. Passaw allowed only 1 base hit, a single to center field. Well, now we move on to Chicago for the 4th game, with the Cubs holding a 2-1 edge in the series.
The Cubs lose the series but gain a star. The all-around hitting and defensive play of Andy Pafko establishes the boy from Boyceville, Wisconsin, as a bright young pro with a great future and some great catches ahead of him. But the catch Andy Pafko will never forget is the one he doesn't quite make. Or did he?
That's why, I definitely caught the ball, but Alex didn't know that I trapped it. It was kind of a funny, windy afternoon. There were a lot of paper cups in the outfield.
2 out now, top of the 9th inning. Cubs 1, Cardinals nothing. The Cub battery rushing Sheffing still. Slaughter leads off first. Rocky Nelson digging in there at the plate. Here's the pitch. Fly ball. Left center. Falling kind of fast. Andy races in. Pafko dives for the ball. Did he catch it or didn't he? Umpire Al Barlick out there signals no catch. Pafko's furious. He's racing in, holding up the ball high. Slaughter scoring. Third base coach Tony Coffin is waving Nelson around. Charlie Grimm is screaming at Pafko to throw the ball. He finally does. And the ball hits Nelson on the high side as he crosses home with the lead run. I don't believe it. Neither does Pafko. The late 40s and 50s are empty years for the Cubs. That fan interest remains is due in no small measure to the contagious enthusiasm and eternal optimism of Bert Wilson, the voice of the Cubs.
I've had a good chance to see all the promising young rookies who will be fighting for a job this summer, and believe me, they look great. The Cubs infield is generally recognized as one of the best in the league already, and there are several outfielders who look like real major leaguers. With Hank Sauerbeck in left field where he belongs, center and right are wide open affairs. But fellows like Ted Tappy, a real giant whom the Cubs obtained from Cincinnati, and several others, look like the outfield should be in good hands this year. Pitching is a cinch to be better, and the catching department was given a big boost when Harry Cheatey, a fellow built like Gabby Hartnett, came back from the service. Yes, it looks like a very interesting season for the Chicago Cubs this year, and here's the good news.
At the tail end of 53, a shy, gangling shortstop joins the Cubs from the Kansas City Monarchs.
Hello again, baseball fans. This is Bert Wilson, the radio voice of the Chicago Cubs from the spring training camp in Mesa, Arizona. And today we're going to talk to Bingo. In other words, that's that famous Bingo to Bango to Bilko or Fondy double play combination. And I'm speaking of Ernie Banks, the great rookie shortstop of the Chicago Cubs, or he was a rookie last year. Ernie, you look like you're ready to go for 1955.
Yeah, already, Bert.
I understand that you might have gone to the New York Yankees or the Chicago White Sox, but Whit Matthews kept after somebody and got you in the Chicago Cub organization.
Well, Bert, I think it's a fine organization, and I really like playing with the Cubs.
You're only 23 years old, and last year was your first year in professional baseball. So it looks like you're going to have a long and glorious career, Ernie. And last year you hit .275, which only 2 other shortstops out-hit you last year. And I think it's amazing to me how you get so much power out there, Ernie. You don't use a lot of real swing around. It's that wrist action that does it, I guess. Is that natural, that wrist action?
Yeah, I guess it's natural. I just swing that way, and I guess I just try to meet the ball and it's go.
Despite the emergence of Banks into a full-fledged superstar, the Cubs continue to wallow in the second division. The frustrations of the mid-50s and early 60s are perhaps best characterized by this seemingly routine play.
Here is Hamner. He singled his last time at bat. He has 1 for 2 the first time up in the ballgame. He struck out. Semenuk is on third base. Kazansky on second. Ashburn is on first. Here's the windup in the pitch. Hamner hits a high pop-up off the right side. It's in foul territory. Landreth and Fondy both there. Landreth waits, and it drops in front of him. It dropped right between them. When the ball hit the ground, Fondy was looking at Landreth, and Landreth was looking at Fondy.
One of the weirdest plays of them all, however, occurs in a game against the Cardinals.
Well, Bob Anderson is all set to work on Stan Musial once again at the plate now. Musial has a count of 3 balls and 1 strike. Sammy Taylor, Chicago catcher, flashes out the next sign. Here's the windup by Bob Anderson. The next pitch into Musial. There's a ball. It goes all the way by Taylor. Ball 4, and Musial's trotting up to first base, but Taylor's not chasing the ball. Instead, he's arguing with the plate umpire, Vic Delmore, evidently claiming that the ball hit Musial's bat. Musial now is on his way to second base. The throw down to second base sails over Tony Taylor's head into right center field. There's another ball coming out from behind the plate somewhere. It's taken by the shortstop, Ernie Banks. Musial gets up from his slide and is going to try for third base, and Banks runs him down and puts the tag on Musial. Boy, what a big rhubarb we have in the field right now. Bill Jakowski, the second base umpire, I believe, is the one who has called Musial out between second and third. The Cardinals are up in arms about it now. The big point is here, which is the official baseball? The ball 4 that went by Sammy Taylor went back to the base of the screen. It evidently was picked up by the third baseman, Al Dark, who threw out to Ernie Banks. The other baseball, I think, was thrown by the pitcher, Bob Anderson. He evidently acquired in some way the baseball from the plate umpire, Vic Delmore, thus allowing 2 baseballs to be in play at the same time.
Not all the bloopers are confined to the playing field.
Lou, since we've been working with Weebolts this year, I'm learning more about women's clothes every day. Now, for example, do you know what a shadow panel is?
Well, old chap, I haven't the foggiest. What is it?
Well, It's a lining they put in women's slips.
And they have these slips at Weebolt's?
Ooh, do they?
Say, don't ad-lib, just read what's on the script.
Well, Kaiser makes them in nylon, and it's light as a feather. These slips are edged with lace at the top and bottom. They sound great, huh?
They sure do.
Oh, mercy. That's the last one of those we'll get all summer, I bet.
How about it, fellas? One more time.
And another thing, Jackson.
Yes?
This year, for the first time, Weebolt's is including popular stretch pantyhose in this sale. They're regularly $3, but now you can get them for $2.39.
You haven't finished.
Yes, I did. Woo!
Oh, boy.
Go to Weebolt's, gals.